Coming up, good news for Orange Nation, one SU football player on the road to recovery.
And the college Democrats and college Republicans at SU had their first ever debate last night in the Maxwell Auditorium. Find out who attended and why the event was a success.
And scientists discovered that rats in New York City have different genetic codes. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
We start this evening with breaking news. A Department of Health and Human Services official announced President Trump will donate his third quarter salary to the opioid crisis. I'm Conor Wight.
And I'm Claudia Bellofatto. Trump says he will use the money to plan and design a public awareness campaign. This comes only hours after Kellyanne Conway was announced as one of the White House's top leaders for the crisis.
Citrus TV reporter Gabrielle Caracciolo is live at the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs with details on last night's political debate. Gabrielle?
Thanks, guys. Yes, last night the SU College Republicans and College Democrats hosted their first ever debate in the Maxwell Auditorium right behind me. I attended the debate and caught up with leaders of both clubs afterwards to find out how the night went. Maxwell Auditorium overflowed with students, faculty, and members of the public hoping to engage in the political conversations between the Syracuse University chapters of College Republicans and College Democrats. Republican Club co-chair Emily Green says she believes the turnout reflects the need for political dialogue on campus.
It's definitely a needed and necessary event to be had, and I'm really glad we did it.
President of College Democrats Sarah Eppelman says the large turnout was a pleasant surprise.
We did not expect this many people to come, and I'm so glad it was such a huge turnout. It was overflowing, which is incredible, obviously.
The chairs of College Republicans agree, saying they are not concerned with declaring a winner of the debate, but simply proud of the turnout and the efforts of the debaters from both clubs.
Overall, I think it really went well, and I think that both of our clubs, worked really hard on preparing arguments, and I think that was clear in the way that they debated.
And despite their sparring over many controversial political points during the debate, both clubs can agree that they are looking forward to hosting more debates in the future.
We're going to do another one hopefully next semester. We'll be probably structured a little bit differently. Probably won't be as cluttered, hopefully. Maybe less categories so we can focus more on specific questions and kind of go from there. But I think there's definitely another one in the future.
The girls say they owe much of the success of the event to Professor of Political Science Grant Reher, who helped organize and moderate the debate.
So Gabrielle, it sounds like a lot of good came out of last night's event. What were some of the topics debated last night?
Yeah, so they discussed 4 topics: healthcare, women's issues, immigration, and gun control. For each of those 4 topics, the moderator, Grant Reher, started by asking a question. They debated, and then they went to questions from the audience.
And all of these types of political debates, I know the crowd can sometimes get rowdy. How was the audience there?
So the crowd was very engaged in the debate last night. They did get a little bit loud at times, but for the most part, they let everybody complete their thought and say what they were hoping to get across. They did need some reminders from the moderator to quiet down and hold the applause, but there actually was a special guest in the crowd last night. Former Democratic mayoral nominee Juanita Perez-Williams came to the debate to listen and to support students who had volunteered on her campaign this fall. I had the chance to talk with her after the debate, so let's take a look at what she had to say.
Oh, this is fantastic. I knew there'd be a lot of people, but I like the fact that it seemed, that there were plenty of people for both sides, and it brought the debate to a level where I thought people were really learning.
Thanks so much, Gabrielle.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
SU football fans got a nice surprise last night. Quarterback Eric Dungey's foot surgery was a success. The junior missed the last 3 games of the season, stuck on the sidelines with a walking boot. Citrus TV sports anchor Adam Unger in studio with us. So despite his injury, he came second in the ACC in passing yards per game. So obviously he had a successful season this season. What does the future look like with this injury?
Well, Eric Dungey has a bit of an injury history, but it comes more along the lines of head injuries, not necessarily foot injuries. So I think with this foot injury, while his mobility might be affected a little bit, that's not necessarily a bad thing because he'll be able to focus on passing more and try to stay in the pocket and try to stay healthy.
So that's him sort of, but how does this affect the Orange going forward into next season?
Well, Eric Dungey should be able to recover in time for next season. I have no doubts about that. And he was clearly a huge leader for this team, both on and off the field, because even the defense fell off big time without him. So I'm really looking forward to see what a healthy Dungey could look like in 2018, guys.
All right, well, we certainly missed him at the end of the season. Let's hope he comes back strong. Thank you.
Yeah.
One PhD student's nightmare and a potential finder's treasure. A Syracuse family is offering a $5,000 reward in return for a missing USB that was stolen from their car last week on a trip to Montreal. The storage device contained important data, including 5 years of conducted research and a rough copy of the student's dissertation.
CitrusTV reporter Greg Bradbury took a look at how one course on campus is giving students the opportunity to take on today's biggest social and political issues.
Students in the Problem Solving Strategies course in SU's School of Design are trying to change the way social and political issues are looked at on campus. The Confronted project has students create pieces that bring topics ranging from racism to climate change to the forefront.
In our other classes, we kind of choose our projects that fit our interests, and this was a project that we were doing for people of our own age, and it was about topics that are really prevalent today and are really big issues.
Students who participated in making the Confronted project have found the experience rewarding.
I feel like it just gives the opportunity to really see how these issues are even just relevant to our classroom.
Here in the Panoski Lounge at the Shine Student Center, students are encouraged to take a look at the exhibit and confront social and political issues in today's world. The project uses 2- and 3-dimensional pieces in addition to an online component that offers students a unique opportunity to address the more difficult problems in the country.
Well, I would hope that people would take the time in this kind of social study environment to actually look at these and understand that this is for them, and that maybe if they spend the time looking closely here, they'll understand and learn something about tolerance, especially on campus here.
The School of Design hopes to help students learn how to deal with these real-world issues, in addition to offering students on campus a look at ways to deal with the problems that many face here at SU. Greg Bradbury, Citrus TV News.
Students can check out the exhibit for themselves from now until the end of the semester.
28-year-old Syracuse resident Patrick Angelo is facing federal charges after allegedly threatening to kill local U.S. Representative John Katko and his family over net neutrality. A complaint was filed in federal court on Monday after Katko's staff discovered a voicemail Angelo left to the representative's office on October 19th. In the message, Angelo said he would kill Katko and his family members if the congressman did not support net neutrality. Angelo faces charges carrying up to 10 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, or both.
And once again, the lottery proves a winner can come from anywhere. A Hudson Valley resident won $10 million off of a scratch ticket last night. Anthony Vitolo says he bought the ticket on a whim when he was stopping to get gas. Vitolo says he plans to use the money to help pay off his children's college loans and consider an early retirement. HIV diagnoses in New York City are at an all-time low. The New York City Health Department says the count is down almost 9% from last year. This comes from the annual HIV surveillance report that started in 2001. The department says the progress is important because it proves new clinical research and medications are having a positive effect on the city.
And an invasive bug species from Asia that poses a threat to crops has just been discovered in New York State. The spotted lanternfly bug was found in Delaware County, and authorities believe it arrived through an interstate shipment. The lanternfly threatens grapes, hops, apples, and other crops important to New York. State officials are alerting at-risk farmers.
A new discovery proving that rats and people have a lot more in common than we may think. A Fordham University grad student discovered that uptown and downtown New York rats have a completely different genetic makeup. The researcher admitted that although there is a huge rat problem in the city, that doesn't mean that the rats are not extraordinary in their own ways. Increase access to pre-K opportunities. That is the goal for a new multi-million-dollar investment. Governor Cuomo says the funding will go to 5 school districts in central New York, including Liverpool and Onondaga. Cuomo says he chose the school districts based on the quality of their application and student needs.
Well, Claudia, it may be getting colder, but it doesn't yet feel like a central New York winter.
That's right. We have our weatherman Jack Watson with us in studio. Jack, can we expect any big changes in the coming days?
Well, guys, a pretty nice start out to the day with a high of 48 degrees. Nice sunshine up until about noontime when the clouds started rolling in, and that turned into a pretty gloomy afternoon. It's raining pretty hard right now with the kind of wind that you need to kind of take a step back a little bit when you walk into. Here's our future radar. This is what we can expect for the storm passing through. It's going to pass through pretty quickly, as you can see. But up here in this northeastern region, you're going to see that pink and that blue. That's winter weather. It's not going to affect us, but it's going to affect regions like Rome and Utica. Our Friday day planner here, 38 degrees when you're waking up for classes, 40 by noon, and back down to 36 by 6 p.m. A similar day to today with some lower temperatures and some more sunshine spread throughout the day. I'll have a big update on all the hurricanes that have impacted the southeastern United States and Florida, as well as the Caribbean, on my full weather forecast when Citrus TV News Live at 6 returns, guys.
Coming up, Matt Lauer speaks for the first time since being fired from NBC.
And the economy booms as the Dow hits new record highs. Just how high did it get? Stay tuned to find out.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Gear up, guys.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
The Dow continues to skyrocket and break records. 6 weeks ago, the Dow first reached 23,000, and this morning it surpassed that milestone.
Just after the opening bell, the Dow hit the 24,000 mark for the first time ever. The market says this is evidence of investors supporting the strength of the economy and the progress in Congress with the tax cut package. The Dow also jumped more than 6,000 points since voters elected President Trump last year. This just in, President Trump may remove Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Senior administrators are reporting that the White House plans to force Tillerson out and replace him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo in the next few weeks.
Administrators also say the White House is considering selecting Senator Tom Cotton to replace Pompeo. If the White House replaces Tillerson before January, it will be the shortest term of any Secretary of State who did not leave with an outgoing president. Former Today Show host Matt Lauer apologized today for his actions, saying, quote, "To the people I have hurt, I am truly sorry." NBC fired the anchor yesterday morning after receiving a complaint that Lauer had sexually harassed a female coworker. NBC said in a letter to the company that they have reason to believe this was not an isolated incident. Lauer released a statement earlier today saying he is embarrassed and ashamed.
And another major news company dealing with complaints of inappropriate behavior. CNN fired a senior producer of the network show State of the Union earlier today after receiving complaints from at least 3 employees. The producer, Teddy Davis, allegedly made his coworkers uncomfortable and created a negative environment. And one of the most senior members in Congress is resigning after nude pictures of him released on the internet. Joe Barton of Texas has been under fire since reports that he had multiple affairs over the years. When the pictures leaked, he decided to not seek re-election.
British Prime Minister Theresa May has spoken out against President Trump after he retweeted multiple posts from a far-right British political party yesterday. The 3 posts contained disturbing, unverified anti-Muslim videos.
Lawmakers worldwide criticized the president for promoting fake news and possibly sparking cultural and religious tensions. Trump hit back on Twitter, encouraging Prime Minister May to focus on the threat of radical Islam terrorism in the UK. His message finally made it to the Prime Minister after initially tweeting at the wrong Theresa May, who had just 6 Twitter followers.
It's very clear that British lawmakers from all parties, all parts of the House, members of the Cabinet are deeply unhappy at what the President has done. We would not welcome him here for a state visit.
Coming up, weather anchor Jack Watson has updates on how different regions are still dealing with the impact of hurricanes as hurricane season comes to an end.
Don't go away.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Today marks the final day of hurricane season, and it was one of the most significant in recorded history, with 17 named storms, 10 of which achieving the rank of hurricanes. 2 Category 4 hurricanes hit the U.S. mainland in Harvey and Irma. Harvey affecting the southeastern Texas region, Louisiana, and the Gulf of Mexico, and Irma, which affected Florida. According to the Associated Press, Hurricane Harvey rained an estimated 27 trillion gallons over Texas and Louisiana. The White House allocated $44 billion in disaster relief for the areas affected to recover from the storms. Some Houston City Council members are aiming to lobby for increased funding in Washington, D.C. next week. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner provides an update on the storm recoveries funding.
What the administration in D.C., what the administration has said to Texas, is that we don't need to send any additional dollars because you all have dollars in your rainy day fund that you all are not tapping. So everyone needs to chip in.
And in the Caribbean and the southeastern United States, Hurricane Irma was a Category 5 storm, causing over 130 deaths and over $66 billion in property damage. The peak winds for Irma were the highest of any of the major storms at 185 miles per hour. Caribbean islands like Barbuda and the Virgin Islands were leveled in the storm. Irma caused around $500 million worth of damage in the UK territory of the Turks and Caicos Islands. And perhaps the storm with the biggest lingering impact is Hurricane Maria, which leveled much of Puerto Rico. The death toll in Puerto Rico has risen to 58, according to a recent ABC News report. The island is still dealing with widespread damage to infrastructure from the hurricane, which devastated Puerto Rico 2 months ago. a few weeks ago. Puerto Rican Governor Ricardo Rossello said that power had been restored to 50% of the island a few days before that announcement. However, a large portion of the San Juan area lost power. So this is an ongoing crisis with both political and humanitarian implications. Although this was one of the most intense hurricane seasons on record, it was not the most intense on record. 2005's hurricane season, which had 28 storms, 15 of which were hurricanes, still holds the top spot. As cleanup efforts continue, officials from the affected areas also continue to lobby for more funding, especially Puerto Rico. Today closes the book on an historic hurricane season, the effects of which won't go away anytime soon, guys.
And coming up in sports, the women's basketball team looks ahead to their ACC Big Ten Challenge, while the volleyball team is fighting to keep their season alive, and a couple volleyball players received ECAC honors. Stick around.
You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
I already knew that I was gonna go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome to your Citrus TV Sports Update. I'm Adam Unger. We've got breaking news from Hamilton, New York. The Syracuse volleyball team is leading the Albany Great Danes 2-1, and Syracuse is currently leading the fourth set 16-12. The CNY foes are meeting in the first round of the National Invitational Volleyball Championship. Santita Ebongwase is leading the Orange with double-digit kills. Syracuse received the ACC's automatic bid to the tournament. And tonight, just 3 days after Maryland basketball paid a visit to the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team hosted their ACC Big Ten Challenge tonight. The 5-2 Northwestern Wildcats are coming to the Dome. The Orange are 6-0 so far this season, and they've been led by point guard Tiana Mangakahia. Say that 3 times fast. She's recorded a double-double in the last 5 straight games. Junior forward Miranda Drummond leads the Orange with 17 points per game. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. and Citrus TV's Brittany Ehrlich will be at the Dome for the game. And a pair of volleyball players were honored by the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference. Senior libero Belle Sand was named the ECAC Defensive Player of the Year. She's 3rd in program history in digs. And junior middle blocker Santita Ebongwase was named to the All-ECAC second team. Ebongwase was 2nd on the Orange in kills, but she led the entire ACC in hitting percentage. And another Syracuse senior has a shot at representing the U.S. Women's soccer goalie Courtney Brosnan has been invited to an under-23 women's national team training camp. She's just one of 4 goalies that were invited. Brosnan is the all-time leader in saves for SU. She also picked up 18 career shutouts. That's tied for 2nd all-time for the Orange. Brosnan will be at the camp in Orlando, Florida until December 4th. And Syracuse University is ranked 3rd in the Directors' Cup standings. The Cup honors schools based on success in a variety of men's and women's athletics. At this time of year, the only standings in the factor is cross country and field hockey, and the Orange have excelled at both. Ange Bradley's bunch has made the NCAA tournament for 10 consecutive seasons, and Justin Knight won the individual men's cross-country championship on November 18th. And Justin Knight will still be participating in track season, which starts just a week and a half after the cross-country national championships. Both the indoor and outdoor track schedules have been announced. Indoor track season starts with the Greg Pace Relays at Cornell on Saturday, and the championships are on March 9th and the March 10th. The athletes get 3 weeks of rest before the Florida Relays on March 29th. Outdoor championships take place from June 6th to June 9th. And a pair of metropolitan area NHL teams made trades today. The New Jersey Devils added defenseman Sami Vatanen. They had to send centers Adam Henrique and Joseph Blandisi to the Anaheim Ducks. Henrique has tallied 4 goals and 10 assists so far for the Devils, and Vatanen is expected to join Will Butcher on the Devils' second defensive pairing. The Rangers picked up center Peter Holland from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for right winger Adam Cracknell. Holland has scored 8 goals and 10 assists in the AHL this season, while Cracknell hasn't been in the Rangers lineup since October 19th. And both NBA teams at NYC picked up wins on Wednesday. The Knicks took down the Heat 115-86 with no Kristaps Porzingis. Enes Kanter led the way with 22 points and 14 rebounds, and former Orange player Dion Waiters scored 10 points for the Heat. Porzingis left the game early with an ankle injury, but the MRI came back negative. And the Nets were able to hold off the Dallas Mavericks 109-104. After sitting out against the Rockets on Monday, DeMarre Carroll dropped 22 points on the Mavs. Carroll also shot 57% from behind the arc. And on a national scale, the Cowboys are hosting the Redskins on Thursday Night Football tonight. Both teams head into the game with 5 wins and 6 losses. This is the Cowboys' 4th game without suspended running back Ezekiel Elliott, and they're still looking for their first win without him. This week, though, the Dallas secondary will have its hands full. Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins is second only to Tom Brady in passing yardage this season.
The most Instagram city in the world. Guess what, Conor? It was actually Syracuse.
Really?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't. But stay tuned to find out who it was.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Instagram's annual year in review announced which city photographers captured the most this year. This year, New York City has the strongest presence on their social media site. It is the most photographed location in the world, with more geotags than any other place on Earth. Instagram's data says Times Square, Central Park, and the Brooklyn Bridge all made it to the top 10.
Thanks so much for joining us this evening. For more news as it happens, follow us at Citrus TV on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Conor Wight.
And I'm Claudia Bellofatto. Have a great